Happy Friday, everybody out there in television land, North Central Washington, the Wenatchee Valley, and everybody out there watching this particular program, which is proudly entitled Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Starting tomorrow, Steve, it's a new program. It's going to be called Sleep in Wenatchee Valley.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We're going to start airing at about 9:15.
A new weekend edition. Then.
Yeah, weekend edition.
I got you.
It'll start about 9:15. It'll run about 20 minutes. This is me eating cereal in the bathroom. I'm kidding. We're not going to do. I need a weekend bad. We all need a weekend bad. Happy Friday to you. It is the 4th day of August, 2017. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Our news director, Steve Hare. To my immediate left, you'll notice there's a chair between the two of us, and that is because in just a couple minutes when we get to the news segment, Captain Edgar Reinfeld from the Wenatchee Police Department will be our guest.
With the Special Investigation Unit that's right now investigating the police-involved shooting from last week.
So we'll be talking to Captain Reinfeld here in just a couple of minutes. We have your weather forecast. The air quality alert has been extended, Steve, all the way till next week.
Yeah.
It was supposed to expire on Saturday at noon.
National Weather Service site that has little icons. Usually it's sunny or cloudy. Yeah. Today it's just smoke.
Smoke. So at least Wednesday, we're going to have to be dealing with this again. We'll talk about the air quality. Also, the heat advisory is still under effect. No red flag warnings except the very northern part of the state. In the Omak-Okanagan area up to the Canadian border, they do have a red flag alert for that area because they're going to be dealing with not only warm temperatures, but they're going to have some freezing conditions.
Yeah.
We're not going to be as windy down here on the valley floor. Lots to get to. Sports. Interesting night with Wenatchee Apple Sox. Not so good for the Seattle Mariners. We'll talk about that. Also, all the weekend sporting activities that should be taking place. Weather authorities permitting, of course. The obscure holiday will be coming your way. Also, birthdays. Today in history, and my actual guest outside of Captain Edgar Reinfeld will be Catherine Grove from Columbia Valley Community Health. They have one of their biggest events of the year tomorrow on their campus. So lots to get to, Steve.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You ready to buckle up and do it?
Let's get to it.
Let's take you around the Wenatchee Valley in North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras taking center stage as usual. Wenatchee, it's not as bad right now as it has been last couple of days.
As I was saying, it looks like a nice day in Los Angeles.
Yeah, beautiful day in Los Angeles, or Beijing, if you will. Right now, the WAQA value is at 166, and what that means for you folks in the Wenatchee, this is for the Wenatchee Valley, it means it's unhealthy, which is better because it was in the hazardous area for quite some time. Actually, the last about 48 to 52 hours has been pretty bad. But again, the air quality alert is still out there. So there's the Wenatchee Valley, bad, but not as bad as it has been.
No, and if you can't breathe, hopefully neither can the fires.
Exactly. But we're still under this influence of this massive dome of high pressure all over the Pacific Northwest. Let's go to the monitor camera and look to the west and say good morning to Kashmir. Good morning, Kashmir. Again, Kashmir has a narrower valley. Sometimes their air quality will be worse than Wenatchee's. It's about the same right now. Good morning, Kashmir. Thanks for joining us.
Pretty light volume of traffic too, looks like.
Pretty light. Let's go up to, it's summer vacation time once we get to August. Speaking of vacation, to Manson we go. The Manson camera looking almost directly to the south. There's beautiful Lake Chelan. They're dealing with it as well. It doesn't look as bad though. Again, we were looking at this camera just a couple of days ago and you couldn't even see across the lake. Today you can. And finally to Jump Off Ridge. Now this is of course quite high in elevation, so that's going to give you, you can almost see the actual layer. You see that? That's from Jump Off Ridge, of course, which by the way, we recommend that you do not jump off. Just a heads up
called
on that.
An inversion, I believe.
Yeah. Again, high pressure is large and in charge. It's going to stay that way. The air quality alert has been extended, as we mentioned before, until noon on Wednesday, August 9th, and it's for everybody out there in North Central Washington. It was supposed to expire tomorrow at noon. They've went ahead and extended it. Again, it's the same thing, Steve, as we talked about before. The lid is on all of these fires in Montana and British Columbia. The smoke comes up, it hits the roof just like a big pot of boiling water, and it goes right back down again.
Pick your poison. You're going to have wind and fire conditions, or you're going to have smoke and choking conditions. So,
if you're looking for relief, and here's maybe the most significant thing that we talked about. If you're looking for relief in the Pacific Northwest, there isn't any. The air quality is not very good in Puget Sound. You go to Spokane, it's not very good. Certainly if you go north, it's really bad, and it's gone all the way down now into the Oregon area. So. It's no really escaping it. Also no escaping the heat. The heat advisory remains in effect. It is due to expire at 8 o'clock tonight. One thing to notice as we do the weather forecast, it was supposed to be near 100 for the last few days. It hasn't. It hasn't gotten that far. Our highs over the last week or so, 96, 95, 96, 96, 95, 97. So the forecast highs have been near triple digits, but we haven't actually gotten there.
Smoke has served as kind of an insulation.
It has. There's a weak cold front today. It's not going to affect us, but it is going to affect, as we mentioned before, the folks up in the Omak-Okanagan Valley. They're going to be dealing with some higher winds, which is about the last thing they need up there. We could use a little bit of a breeze just to scour out the skies. It's simply not going to happen. So again, the air quality alert has been extended until Wednesday at noon. Who knows? It might go even longer than that. Of course, the Department of Ecology is free to change their mind, whatever they want to. Heat advisory will expire later on tonight. 5.5 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Captain Edgar Reinfeld from the Wenatchee Police Department will be in Studio C right here in downtown Wenatchee. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your stoke?
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
Come on out to Chelan County Fair. All your friends and neighbors will be there. There'll be cows, there'll be chickens, guitar picking, there'll be plenty of food to be shared. Come on out to Chelan County Fair. Come on out, yo, come on out to Chelan County Fair.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Steve Hare for NCW Life News, joined by Dan Kuntz, our host. And here sitting between us is Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department, who's joining us now to give us more information on the latest developments in the investigation into the police-involved shooting from last week outside that Albertson store. Certainly, Captain, there are still a lot more questions than there are answers, and I know that you have been working feverishly along with the Special Investigative Unit in trying to piece together what happened. I've asked the captain to join us this morning on our program to walk us through the process of how these types of investigations are conducted and maybe work in a little timeline here as to when you hope to get things wrapped up. First of all, let's talk about the investigation itself.
Sure. In these investigations in the past, and probably still in many areas of the country, agencies investigate themselves. So an officer from an agency ends up in an officer-involved shooting, and their own detectives, their own command staff, everything come out, do the investigation, and make a determination if there was a criminal act committed by the officer, and then go right into the internal investigation, determine if they've complied with policy. Several years ago here, we assembled the North Central Washington Special Investigation Unit, which is Chelan County Sheriff, Douglas County Sheriff, Okanagan County Sheriff, City of East Wenatchee, Wenatchee, and then kind of our accessory partner is Washington State Patrol. As a statewide agency, they don't really sign these compacts or agreements, but they certainly act in these because they bring so much technical skill and equipment to the situation. They also have the crime lab. They have everything that we need to actually work a case all the way through. So once the SIU was formed, we have an incident like this where we have the officer-involved shooting involving our agency. We become the venue agency. It's where the incident occurred. We're no longer the investigation arm for it. Now, the way the structure works, we're still the command structure. Captain Jim West from our department happens to be the SIU commander for the entire thing. Mm-hmm. I'm the assistant commander right now by role. And so we're still the commanders. Our job, though, is strictly to ensure that the process is followed. We will interview no one. We will collect no evidence. We will process any of that business. Chelan County was selected as the lead agency. It could have been any of the other agencies involved that came out on Thursday night when the tones went out. And so in this case, Douglas County had just finished a critical incident by an hour. And we're definitely loaded up with things that needed to be done. You know, all through this week till today, they're still working their case they had right before this incident that was not an SIU case, it was an internal case. And so Chelan County was fresher, Chelan County came up, and Chelan County became the lead agency for this incident.
I see.
And so what that means is all the evidence, all of the interviews, all of the reports, everything will go through Chelan County. The lead investigators from Chelan County, the command for the investigation side is in Chelan County. So where we're at right now is in the criminal investigation phase. This entire phase is simply to determine if the officer's actions were lawful, period. And so we have to go through everything. Just like any other criminal investigation, we literally have to collect all the evidence possible. And a man died as a result of these actions. So on top of just looking around, it has to be treated like the most intense sorts of investigations. We are literally looking for every scrap of video, every person who may have seen something before, during, or after. We're looking for all of that, pulling it all together. That's why it takes some time.
Well, it's certainly a tragedy, no matter who you're talking about, whether it's Mr. Folden, who lost his life, children, lost a father.
Yes.
We do know a lot more about the officer involved, Albert
Yes.
Gonzalez. But what do you know at this point about the man who was killed in Fulton? What can you tell us about him?
For me, I know relatively little. Like I said, I'm not investigating. I'm the public information officer was my assigned role. I'm literally taking no command or supervisory role in this investigation. The first night, we gathered up out at the scene and we started breaking down some roles and determined early on I would be the PIO for this incident. And so as a PIO, I basically filter feed everything that comes, create the messaging that goes out on the pace that is determined by the SIU as a whole, and with the information that is ready for release. One of the most difficult things in all of this for people to understand is we can only release facts. We can't release opinions. We can't release some sort of conjecture. We can't throw out there our guesses about anything. It's got to be facts, which means we got to verify them 19 different ways if we can manage it. And anything that's not verifiable, we need to probe very, very carefully before we go and put it out there. And so in this, I have not really seen much about Mr. Folden beyond I know he's 31 years old. I know there are a couple of children involved, and I have a basic idea where he worked. Beyond that, I have had no role in looking at his life or the moments leading up to this. And while there are those who will be doing that work and who are doing that work, it's not ready to come out yet.
Well, we're living in a new age, the social media age, and certainly that has played a role here in the investigation. Maybe you can tell us to what extent the social media plays.
So social media is a double-edged sword in many ways. As an agency, when we turn on a Facebook page at the beginning of the year, we rapidly gained a following in a manner we did not expect. We had watched the City of Wenatchee's own page kind of slowly have this arc of growth. And then we went and published information. I think the breakthrough for us was a car that went and straightened out the S-curves down on Chelan and landed inside a building. And just this massive explosion of following and commentary and all these things that really required to be monitored and not just put out there. We've certainly noted and used our social media thing to push a variety of press releases over the course of the year when we've had major incidents. Some tragic, some interesting, some borderline entertaining, and of course to promote community events. So we've done it for all of that. This is the first homicide, effectively, or major incident where someone ended up dead, where we have used it to push out the material. And so the interesting thing is you push out the press releases. Many people have agendas. Everyone has opinions. Some people have several opinions. And they just start flooding in. And the goal with the social media is to be informative, to be transparent, to maintain and develop that sense of public trust, that we're telling you what we can tell you right now, and we're giving it to you directly through the media outlets, through everybody, and then you get feedback. And the interesting thing is the quantity and quality of the feedback that comes. And it's also an appeal. We've used it as a tool to appeal for more witnesses, for people with video or photos to come forward and bring us that side.
And that was the next question I had for you. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Special Investigative Unit that's investigating this shooting. Numerous people, as I understand, were at the scene of the shooting that night. How many interviews have been conducted so far? And I mean, how many people have you talked to? And how consistent has have the statements been?
So throughout this, I think we're well over 20 people now that have been interviewed. There were a number of people present at the scene before and during, and then a lot more arrived after. People heard about it and immediately fled to the area, and and are up around the perimeter watching. It is something to see. I will agree, watching the crime scene team do their work is strangely interesting and boring at the same time because so much of it is so slow. But I would say we've interviewed over 20 people. As far as consistency, everyone's point of view is a little bit different. We see an arc of consistency that is continuous through all the interviews, but to go and say that guy, that guy, that guy, and that guy all saw exactly the same thing isn't really possible. We have a consistent story that's been achieved across the interviews, but the detail differs so much from person to person, and a lot of it's point of view. We have witnesses that were as far away as 800 feet that saw and heard something. We have witnesses that were as close as probably 100 feet, but had things between them and the scene. So everybody's point of view, and this is always the case, when you interview a large number of witnesses, the interesting thing here is we don't have, as far as I know, any real outliers in the interviews. Occasionally, when you interview a large group of witnesses, you'll have this very consistent arc and everything looks pretty squared away, and then you'll find the one person who saw something completely different. And it's difficult to reconcile with everything else.
I think a lot of the inconsistencies we're seeing so far, at least in terms of the social media comments that are being shared with us, has to do with the weapon, or whether or not the man was even armed at the time that he was shot. In your news release, you have stated that a knife was found at the scene, correct?
Yes, the knife was recovered right there.
Do we know what kind of a knife?
We do, but we're not commenting yet.
Okay, but it was, that's something that will be coming out later in the investigation.
Absolutely.
So, again, what kind of a timeline are you working with here?
We would hope within a couple of weeks to be able to push a much more complete story, including an absolute timeline, a second-by-second breakdown. A lot is determined on how we get things back. One of the biggest things, the final reports, all that stuff, will be weeks. An autopsy was conducted Tuesday, but now we're going to wait 8 to 10 weeks probably for some of the lab stuff.
Now, why is that important?
To everybody, to finally close and to get the totality of the circumstances together, it matters. It's as simple as we recovered a knife at the scene. Are anyone's fingerprints on the knife? Is anyone's DNA on the knife? That might be as little as 2 weeks. Latent fingerprints don't take long. DNA sometimes takes a while, sometimes it doesn't. DNA seems like kind of a toss-up, but it's run in batches by the State Patrol Crime Lab. This is a high-interest case. It floats higher up in the hierarchy, but if there were say a murder-suicide or something in Western Washington tomorrow or today, it may push it down a step, and it's going to kind of float in there and work its way up to where it's actually run with a batch of DNA. It varies a lot. I don't run the crime lab. Nobody here does, and so it goes as it goes. But things that simple. I mean, that little tiny thing makes all the difference in all of it, and we have to wait for some of that stuff to come back. The toxicology for Mr. Folden will take probably 8 weeks. It always takes 8 weeks. It just does, but it only goes through one lab, through the State Patrol Toxicology Lab, and so we wait.
Depending on the findings of your investigation, would that be passed along to the prosecutor's office, or just where does it go from there?
So this initial wave is the criminal phase, and it is all about were the actions of the officer lawful. Yes, Chelan County Sheriff's Office, Chelan County's Prosecutor's Office, Prosecuting Attorney Doug Shea, will be getting all of this package, and they will make the determination where the officer's actions lawful. When that criminal phase is done and that determination has been made, our own internal investigation then occurs. The actual investigation is kind of concurrent. They're able to look at material as it comes by. But the final determinations and the final steps are not made until after determination of lawful or not. And then we go into, was it within policy and procedure? And so there's really 2 steps for the officer involved and for the department itself. Prosecutor looking at, was it a crime? Internal systems looking at what policies complied with as a disciplinary matter.
Understand. Did you have a question, Dan?
You mentioned the officer involved. How is he doing, and what has he been doing over the last, say, 10 days?
So Officer Gonzalez went out on administrative leave last Thursday night, so we're just over a week here. He remains on administrative leave right now. I've talked to him, and he's doing his thing and riding his time on administrative leave. It's one of these things where people always ask, how's he doing? We don't really know all that well how anyone else is doing until we have a real opportunity to sit down and talk with them at length, see where they're at, see if they're ready to return, see where they're at with their life. And so that's a very difficult question to answer, and one I don't feel comfortable trying to say he's doing great, he's doing poorly. He's getting by, and he will sit on administrative leave until he's cleared to return to duty at some time in the future. It may be a matter of weeks. It may be a little bit longer. It varies. There are agencies in this state that would have him back to work already. We're not quite that far forward with policy and with our investigative processes to be able to do that, but hopefully sooner rather than later he'll have an opportunity to return to work.
Captain Reinfeld, I'll give you the last word, your call to action for the community, for more information. Obviously, You're looking for more. We
would like more. We are gotten to the point where we're looking at so much video we collected from the scene. We're pretty sure we have identified, we've confirmed that we've interviewed everybody we can see, but that doesn't mean we saw everybody. If you saw something, if you know somebody, if you have video or photos, please call that tip line at Chelan County Sheriff's Office at 667-6845. Let them know you have information about the shooting so we can get an interview to you. We have multiple investigators from the SIU waiting to interview people that still pop up because we want to get it all.
Congratulations, by the way, on a successful national night out here at the park the other night. Good turnout, and looks like it was pretty positive affair.
It was a very positive event, lots of community involvement, lots of outside agencies we have not necessarily traditionally had there who really brought a lot of information to the table. It was a good night.
Well, thank you very much for joining us
Steve.
this morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Special Investigative Unit.
21 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports and everything else that you're used to seeing on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Collins Fashions has a fabulous selection of clothing, handbags, jewelry, and shoes for all events in your life, such as work, errands, celebration, travels, etc., etc. And our professional caring staff will assist you in coordinating your wardrobe and choose a perfect gift for that special someone. Our many fabulous brands include Joseph Ribkoff, Tribal, Jag Jeans, Tommy Bahama, and we are your Brighton headquarters for North Central Washington. We are grateful for our wonderful customers, and we look forward to seeing you at Collins, where fun and fashion meet in downtown Wenatchee.
We've been in the cleaning industry for over 10 years, and we noticed a need in the housing market for reliable, professional, and specialized cleaning and finishing company.
They come in with spunk and personality, a lot of energy, and they take pride in their business.
We offer a wide array of cleaning solutions, no matter how big or small the job. Anything from new construction to move-in, move-outs, we do it all. Give us a call today to see how we can help you with your cleanup.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by First Choice Collision Center. If you like fruits and vegetables, flowers, and one-of-a-kind artisan goods, head to the Wenatchee and Quincy Farmers Market Saturday, August 5. Wenatchee's market runs from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Pybus, and Quincy's is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Lozier Park. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
Welcome back. We are live here from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this 4th day of August 2017. It's a Friday, and let's do sports. The Wenatchee Apple Sox have garnered a bit of a reputation for late inning comebacks, but even they outdid themselves last night in Game 1 of the doubleheader down there in Corvallis. Wenatchee scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they defeat Corvallis 10-7. Of course, the game was moved to Corvallis because of the smoke in our area. And as per the league rules, when they play a doubleheader, there's 2 7-inning games. And since Wenatchee was the home team and they scored all of those runs in the 7th inning, they had a walk-off victory. Nicely done. So they win Game 1, as you can see there, 10-7 over Corvallis. The hero, Jake Taylor, with a walk-off 3-run home run in the bottom of the 7th inning. So for the moment anyway, for about a half an hour, the Apple Sox were all alone in first place in the North Division. Then came the nightcap and the Knights scored 2 in the first and 3 in the second before Wenatchee could even get their shoes on. Corvallis led 6-0 heading into the last at-bat for the Apple Sox in the 7th. Wenatchee came back a little bit. They were able to score 3 runs, but they were not able to make it up. So Wenatchee now heads to Bellingham for a 3-game series with the Bells to wrap up the regular season. When it's all said and done after last night, Wenatchee is tied with Victoria for first in the second half of the North Division standings. There you see there. Wenatchee's winning percentage is .565. Victoria's is .560. Essentially, it's a tie. So it looks now at this point, depending on what happens, and we can't forget about Bellingham. We've talked about Wenatchee and Victoria on the pennant race. Bellingham is right there, just a half game back, and Wenatchee will be taking on Bellingham in a 3-game series in Bellingham beginning tonight. They may have to play that makeup game against Corvallis on Monday. We'll know more obviously, by the time the weekend is over. And there's your scores also from the West Coast League last night. Busy weekend at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Busy weekend. The Pro Late Models, the Vintage Modifieds, the Pro 4 Trucks, the Street Stocks, the Thunder Cars. Gates open at 5, racing starts at 6. Little bit of a scrap at training camp at Seahawks yesterday. Check out this video. Jeff Chambers shared this on Twitter. A fight between defensive end Frank Clark and offensive lineman Jermaine Ifdale. When the dust had cleared, Clark tossed out of practice, and Ifadai, was escorted to the locker room with blood coming out of his mouth. Pete Carroll says, no. You're supposed to fight the other team, not each other. So there you go. That comes from, again, Jeff Chambers' Twitter feed yesterday. Let's talk Seattle Mariner baseball. Brandon Moss belted a pair of home runs. Lorenzo Cain logged the go-ahead RBI base hit in a pivotal 2-run 7th inning. And Kansas City snaps their 3-game losing streak. They beat the Mariners. The final was 6-4 on Thursday. Manager Scott Service said the game felt good early.
We were in pretty good spot. Garda was pretty good, really good, through, outside the home run he gave up through 5 innings or right there, had to lead the ball game. The back-to-back walks on 9 pitches, starting off the 6 is not a good thing, but I thought Zepp came in, through the ball really well. We got the double play ball, and, the ground ball at Moustakas, he hit it in the right spot. That happens. And, we had some chances, kind of needed that big 2-out hit, earlier in the game, like you said, to kind of take a more commanding lead in that game. I felt the momentum was on our side, but you look up at the scoreboard and it was still 2-0, and then they quickly tie it, with one swing of the bat. So, had chances, you kind of need that, like I said, the big 2-out hit to get you over the hump there and stretch out the lead a little bit. We didn't get that tonight.
Seattle and Kansas City play game 2 of their 4-game series tonight, 5:15. James Paxton will go against Jason Hamill. Elsewhere in the American League West, there are your final scores. Tampa Bay knocks off Houston. Texas over Minnesota. The Angels defeated Philadelphia, and San Francisco knocked off Oakland. Seattle is back to 500 at 55-55, 15 games behind division-leading Houston, but 2.5 games out in the wild card race. And that is sports. At 27 after the hour. It is the 4th day of August 2017, the obscure holiday of the day. I had 3 to choose from. It's International Beer Day. I don't know why I didn't choose that in retrospect. It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Again, what was I thinking? That would be a good one. But this is much more important than either one of those two things. Today is National Coast Guard Day. Happy birthday to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was founded on this date by an act of Congress on August 4th, 1790. So the Coast Guard is 227 years old today. The Coast Guard, of course, is one of the 5 U.S. Armed Forces. In peacetime, it operates under the Department of Homeland Security. In wartime, it operates under the Department of the Navy. So they're the only, of the 5 branches of the military, they're the only one that have kind of that dual jurisdiction. I've had a lot of good friends who've done great work for the Coast Guard. Happy birthday, happy anniversary. Celebrate National Coast Guard Day. They're good folks and they do great work. All right, it's time for Today in History, August 4th. August 4th, 1889, 128 years ago, was the Great Fire of Spokane. Just about every major metropolitan city in the United States at one time or another had a Great Fire. Spokane among them. The Great Fire of Spokane broke out on this date 128 years ago. 32 blocks of downtown Spokane destroyed by fire in a futile effort to starve the fire. They did what they did back in those days. They blew up blocks of buildings around the fire's perimeter to try to keep the fire from spreading. And in the end, it turned out pretty good for Spokane because nobody was seriously injured or even killed, and it gave Spokane a chance to rebuild their downtown core to pretty much what it is today. The Great Fire of Spokane broke out in this state in 1889. On this date of 1944, a Dutch informer who was never named, they never figured out who he was, told the Gestapo that there's an apartment in Amsterdam, there's a warehouse, and you might look into it because something I think is going on. The Gestapo broke in, they looked all over the place, and they eventually, of course, found Anne Frank, her family, and 4 others. The hidden apartment where Anne Frank wrote her diaries was discovered by the Gestapo in this state in 1944. The guy who tipped him off was never identified. And at this date, 1958, Billboard magazine debuted the very first Hot 100. And there it is. Before the Hot 100, which of course is the 100 most popular songs in America, regardless of genre, there were actually 3 different charts. There was the bestsellers in stores, the bestsellers, the most played by radio, and the most played by jukeboxes. There were 3 different charts. They combined them all together on this date in 1958. Of course, the Billboard Hot 100 is still the industry standard on the popularity of a song in any given week. The first number one on the Billboard Hot 100, Rick Nelson's Poor Little Fool. Oh yeah, the Billboard Hot 100 rolled out on this date in 1958. And finally, at 1/2 on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, birthdays for you. The great Louis Armstrong, the single most influential figure in the history of jazz, unquestionably, Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, the great Louis Armstrong, born on this date in 1901, passed away in 1971 at the age of 69. Louis Satchmo did not really know. Louis Armstrong had no idea when his birthday was, or a lot of things about his childhood. He made up a lot of stuff. Everybody always thought, right up until the late 80s, the late 1980s, that Louis Armstrong was born July 4th, 1900, because he just told everybody that. They actually found his birth records many, many years after he died, and it was discovered that he was actually born on August 4th, 1901. The legendary Louis Armstrong, born on this date. The 44th President of the United States, you may have heard of this gentleman, Barack Obama, was born on this date 56 years ago, of course. President of the United States for 2 terms, a Nobel Prize laureate. Happy birthday to Barack Obama. Hope he's enjoying retirement. Must be interesting to retire as the President of the United States and you're only 56. What do you do then when you've done it all, right? Very controversial figure, but a great pitcher, Roger Clemens, 55 years old today, the only person ever to win 7 Cy Young Awards. That is a remarkable achievement. Roger Clemens, is he going to make it into the Hall of Fame? I think eventually he probably will as time passes. Roger Clemens is 55 years old today. And Jeff Gordon, 46 years old today, the American race car driver and actor. He won 4 Winston Cup championships during his career, probably the most popular driver in NASCAR during his time. Jeff Gordon, 46 years old today. Don't forget, if you know somebody is celebrating a special day, a birthday, you can submit it to us. Just go to our website, ncwlife.com. Click on the icon for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll get it on the air. We promise. We're pretty good about that stuff. Everyone is entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion in just a couple of moments, and then Catherine Grove from Columbia Valley Community Health will be my guest here in just a couple of minutes. Before we get to those 2 things, special thanks to our sponsors, Weinstein Beverage, the distributors of this outstanding product from Starbucks. It's called Cold Brew. Cold brew. It was always cold. It was never brewed hot and then made cold. It was cold brewed, and check this out. It was seeped in cold water for not just a couple of hours, 20 hours. 20 hours is how long it takes to brew this thing, and it's a very limited batch. Very limited batch. So they know they got the quality control here. It's good stuff. The one I'm holding now is coca and honey with a little bit of cream. So you got that coffee flavor, but it's got a little bit of personality to it. Check it out. It's called Starbucks Cold Brew Coffee. It's a premium coffee drink. It's good stuff. If you like your coffee cold, start with this, and it's distributed in the Wenatchee Valley by Weinstein Beverage. And special thanks to our friends at Highgate Senior Living. Every day to the fullest. Great food, great people. The residents there are pretty cool people too. I gotta admit, I had a great time visiting with the folks who love to call Highgate home. Beautiful campus too. Gorgeous campus. Good people, good folks, true pros. Highgate Senior Living. Give them a call, take a tour. You'll be glad you did. All right, 33 minutes after the hour. Everyone is entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion. And then Catherine Grove from Columbia Valley Community Health will be in studio. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
No matter what your age or ailment, when you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, life has meaning and joy.
Just wait a while, it'll get in the hole somewhere.
Helping you do this is our purpose. Highgate Senior Living, each day to the fullest.
The best thing about my life right now is
me.
Have you ever taken the perfect photo or have a special event you thought, this should be on canvas or hanging on my wall? We do too. Take your digital photo to Jameson Art Studio in downtown Leavenworth today. Artist Bob Jameson will use his artistic touch to customize your digital photo and print it on canvas while you wait. Jameson Art Studio does it all, from original oil paintings of your family, pets, and landscapes. Ask about our group art classes. Jameson Art Studio on Front Street in downtown Leavenworth.
For a limited time, purchase any Super Clean pre-owned vehicle in stock at Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore and get your choice of a free family 4-pack season pass to Slidewaters Lake Chelan Water Park or the Wenatchee Super Oval. Choose from over 100 4x4s and all-wheel drive cars and trucks. 50 vehicles priced under 10 grand. And drive away with no money down, no payments for 90 days, and financing from 1.79%. And everybody knows we service what we sell at the Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore. Leonard Evans, where the name means a great deal.
You can buy fruit almost anywhere. From first off the tree to first in your hands, Lone Pine offers seasonal fruit from their farm and around the region every day. Make Lone Pine your latte stop with coffee from Blue Star Coffee Roasters and a fresh piece of fruit pie. Take a break with a friend and order a cold micro beer or a glass of Northwest wine. Bring the whole family and enjoy a Lone Pine lunch or a fresh shake in their park-like setting. Lone Pine Fruit and Espresso on Highway 97.
Welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson.
Of the NCW Life Legislative Hotline, I'm Steve Hare.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
And now, your weather forecast for north central Washington.
We're here at the downtown fire station right now.
Dry and warm weather pattern for Friday.
Considering that we're supposed to be 103 degrees today, how do you keep these guys cool?
And this just in, traffic is slowed in the Orondo area as firefighters attack a brush fire.
Right here on NCW Life News.
Breed's Marine in Manson has your boating needs covered, offering the superior Regal lineup with options from 19 to 53 feet. Featuring the Regal Surf lineup with Volvo Penta's new forward-facing drive with length from 19 to 26 feet. View our current inventory at ChelanBoat.com or stop by our Manson showroom on beautiful Lake Chelan and see what the all-new Regal RX surf line has to offer.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, you know what I don't understand? Strip clubs and lap dances. Now, my experience in these areas is totally non-existent, so maybe I don't have the right to an opinion. But why would a supposedly intelligent man go to a place where you have to pay a woman who despises you, by the way, to get you turned on? And then your only course of action is to sit with the other jamokes you came with and drink more bad beer? Well, I guess the operative words here are supposedly intelligent. Now, God gave us men 2 brains, but only enough blood to run one at a time. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
The taste of fantastic pizza is found in Third Generation Pizza & More. The secret? The recipes of success have been handed down through generations, each adding their own special touch. Pizza & More believes in traditions, whether it's supporting the local sporting teams or continuing to serve their pizzas buffet style, dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Third Generation Pizza & More, a team player in this valley for generations.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV Advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
Wenatchee Valley College is now offering 4-year degrees. The need for engineering technologists is rapidly growing, and the new Bachelor of Applied Science and Engineering Technology is designed to meet the needs of local employers. Students with an associate degree can complete the program in only 2 or 3 years. Don't wait! The program is accepting just 20 students for fall quarter. Apply now at wvc.edu/engineeringtech.
39 minutes after the hour on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I am Dan Kuntz. I've been trying for months and months and months to get somebody from Columbia Valley Community Health to come on my show. And by golly, mission accomplished. Catherine Grove joins me. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's good to be here. Thank
It's
you,
good to
Dan.
see you. I haven't seen you in about 5-6 years.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here and just stoked to be able to chat about what we have going on.
Columbia Valley Community Health, in the interest of full disclosure, is in my neighborhood. And you guys have been great neighbors. You really have been, because there's been a lot of changes over the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, and they're finally coming to a close. And so that's what we're excited about. It's been a long road, but the community's responding well.
Speaking on behalf of everybody in the Grandview Historic District who borders the campus of Columbia Valley Community Health, is the remodel done?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of our celebration this Saturday is that it's actually done and complete for people to come in and see.
Most people remember the building as the old INA, of course, which is what it was for years and years and years. Columbia Valley Community Health took over a number of years ago. And it's been a continuing process. Living in the neighborhood, it seems like it's been one long 15-year remodel that's been going on. So what exactly has happened over the last just 10 years?
Absolutely. So obviously our latest addition was the medical wing that we put on, and that's where all of our medical providers are, and then the dental office is above there. And then the express clinic is off to the, north west side, and we've brought WIC inside. So yeah, we've just continued to push out the walls and try to really make that an all-encompassing main campus that someone can come and get all of their medical concerns taken care of.
From an aesthetic standpoint, it looks a lot better than it used to as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's we've just worked with awesome architects, and it's been a long vision finally all coming together.
And it looks great. I'm really pleased with what's going on. Again, you people have been great neighbors because it's been a bit disruptive for the folks who live in the general area.
Yes, of course.
But it's fine now. It's great.
Yeah.
Again, you guys have been really fantastic. And you mentioned all of those things. And that's what Columbia Valley Community Health is when people think about it. It's full service. It's everything. Pediatrics, dentistry, personal care. Walk us through the umbrella.
So it is, complete health in the sense that someone can come and have an established medical provider. They can, get their prescriptions on site. We have a lab on site. All of that can be taken care of. And then we also have the express clinic, dentistry upstairs, and WIC is now under our roof as well. And so that's everything under one roof in that sense. So we can take care of people, and we work very closely with Confluence. So if someone needs to have their appendix removed, they go see a specialist, and then we work very closely with doctors at Confluence as well.
Take it from somebody who doesn't have his appendix anymore. She's right about that. So it's Columbia Valley Community Health. People go, okay, what exactly is it in relation to Confluence? I mean, are they together? Are they separate? Do we have a choice?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's confusion involved there.
No, there is confusion, and like I said, we work very closely with Confluence, but we're not related at all. We're two separate entities, and our main thing and what we want the community to know is you do have a choice to go, and you should go with a provider that you're comfortable with, and we have. We have providers that have been there for well over 20 years, and just a really great staff that's happy to take care of the whole family, including pediatricians and everyone in between.
We talked about the express care thing, which has been a huge success to the point where even though we're talking about the Wenatchee campus specifically, you have an East Wenatchee Express Care thing, and now one up in Chelan as well, right?
Absolutely. So the one in Chelan, we're going to have a brand new clinic actually opening up right there across from Walmart. We've been near Chelan Fresh in downtown Chelan, but our new clinic will be opening up, coming up very soon. And then the Express Clinic, like you said, in East Wenatchee, and then we have the Express Wing off of our location on 600 Orondo. And that really, we want people to have an established medical provider that they go to for their, planned care visits, but things happen. Or one thing a lot of people come to Express Care for is just their children's exams before sports physicals and stuff like that, or the unplanned earache when you get a call from the daycare.
Sure, all of a sudden I got a toothache or a bee sting. It's the perfect place there.
Yeah, Yeah, we started a new campaign with our patients, and just again and again we heard, we love that we can just check online what the wait time is.
I'm
And
on it
drop
right
in.
now. Yeah, you can click on it and you can find out if you go to the Express Care, you know how long you're going to have to wait before somebody sees you.
Well,
it's not very long either.
No,
normally.
and the nice thing is you can choose which location you want to go to, upon that. And we know that our patients, time is valuable and time is money. So we respect that and we want to get you in and out. And so that has been something that was implemented long ago and patients have really enjoyed.
And of course, the physical location of these is very important, because if somebody comes into the Express clinic and your person on staff says, okay, this is serious, and we need to get you to a hospital, you're very close by.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's important.
Yes.
So here's a question, and people have asked me to ask you this. Where does the money come from? How does Columbia Valley Community Health sustain its financial?
So we're a nonprofit organization, and so we get different grants and funding to help those pay their bills that can't afford to, those that are uninsured. And one nice thing, a lot of people don't seek medical care because they're just, they're afraid of some form of sticker shock and they don't know what it's going to cost to actually get their care. And so when you walk in the main doors of our community at 600 Rondo, you can just visit member services, and they literally have a sliding fee scale where they can sit down with you, and it takes less than 10 minutes, and they can talk to people and say, this is what your care will actually cost.
I'm going to ask a big question.
Yeah.
Is healthcare a basic human right?
Well, we believe so.
That's why I wanted to ask you that question.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably your underlying philosophy, is it not?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. And our philosophy is that we will provide care for anyone that walks through the door. So, and it's awesome to see really, truly a reflection of the whole community that is coming to our facility.
Well, it's a going concern. I mean, it's going and thriving, and the word is out there now. And Saturday is the big back-to-school health fair, right?
Yeah, this is Christmas for us.
It's Christmas for you.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break, Catherine. When we come back, we'll talk about
Great.
that specific thing and a few other things as well, all right?
That sounds great.
Catherine Grove is my guest from Columbia Valley Community Health. When we come back, big day Saturday on their campus. We'll talk about that and much more. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
You know, I nail it, but that's not quite good enough. All right, the full-size SUV redesign this year. Wow. The brand new Nissan Titan, the truck everybody's talking about. And as long as we got that, let's start over. 2017 Nissan, the best-selling SUV in America. I freaking had it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
It's just high school. Come join us.
Minutes after the hour, we are live from Studio 9 here in downtown Wenatchee. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. My guest is Catherine Grove from Columbia Valley Community Health. Tomorrow morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, what are you going to be doing?
Well, I am going to be visiting with a ton of kiddos and their parents. So tomorrow's our back to school health fair, and it's undoubtedly our just most fun event of the year.
It is the most fun of it. It's, as you mentioned before, it's Christmas. When I was on the United Way Board of Directors, we were heavily involved in this, of course, and we came every year. This is a big event. Tell people what exactly to expect tomorrow.
So tomorrow we will have 1,000 backpacks and school supplies. The NCESD partners with us and provides the school supplies. And then we have an array of just awesome sponsors that have made it possible for us to be able to give backpacks away to kids ages K through 12. And so, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. This is our 9th year doing it. Last year we had 2,000 people in attendance. We gave away, I think, 833 backpacks, and so we just bumped it up to 1,000 this year because it just keeps growing.
You said 2,000 people showed up last year?
Yeah, with kids and parents. Yeah, because it's a whole, the community comes together. We actually go into the schoolyard and we do a bouncy house, and they can learn about the services we provide, but also our partners, community partners.
For the kids who are going to benefit this from the backpack, by the way, the backpacks are really nice. These are not Chinese-made knockoffs. These are nice backpacks.
Yeah, no, our goal is to give something that's quality, that's going to last the school year. We know that kids are going to beat them up and they're going to get tossed on the floor, and so yeah, they are nice backpacks.
But the kids have to be there to get them, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so kids have to be present to get one. What happens is generally even an hour before people kind of start getting in a line, and we put wristbands on the children depending on what age group they're in. And this year, since our building is finally done, we're going to have a community open house, so they'll literally come through our front doors and receive their backpack, and they'll get a short tour out of the building. And then head over to the schoolyard, and that's where they'll get their school supplies. And we do a raffle where, different people have donated things. The Wenatchee Valley Mall gave, gift certificates and just a ton of great stuff to give away. Normally they had to be present to win. And just with the smoke outside, we've been asked, when, are you gonna still have your event? Yes. The show still goes on, so we're gonna have our event. But you don't have to be present to win any of the raffles. We'll announce that on our Facebook.
And for the curious, it gives them a chance to finally see the new campus.
Absolutely.
Because if you haven't had no reason really to go into Columbia Valley Community Health, you don't know what's going on inside. Now
well,
you get
and some people only come to us for our medical. They have their pediatrician there, but they've never been up to the dental office or seen the pharmacy. And so that's, the open house portion of it is so that they can actually see the building.
I guess that brings the next question. What has stayed the same inside the building? I've been inside the building a number of times. Is almost everything different?
I think it's fair to say nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it truly has every inch has been remodeled because we wanted to provide the nicest possible facility for the community that would last for years to come.
Do people need to show up at 6 a.m. to guarantee they're going to get a backpack or anything like that?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Some people do come early. There are some pitching tents currently as we speak and lining up down the street.
And this is all hands.
That's a joke. I think if they got there even an hour before, they'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all hands on deck thing for your staff because I've been to these before, and there's a lot.
Absolutely.
You're all wearing the same colored shirt or something like that.
Yeah. So you'll see volunteer on the shirts if you have any questions. It should be pretty straightforward. Lines will begin to form. Part of our parking lot will be available. Our dental office and express are still open, so we're still open for business, but it shouldn't affect anything with the event. So I would say if you got there at 8, you're going to be fine.
Backpacks, and then you go over to Columbia Elementary School and do some of the other stuff. There's going to be lots of tents and different booths and things outside of the backpacks?
In the spirit of health, we will be around the perimeter of the schoolyard so that the kiddos can run to the different activities. We'll have games for them, and all have physical activities. So parents, when your kiddos go home, they're going to be tired and want a nap.
Yeah, I know I will. National Health Center Week.
Yes. What
is that?
So
and how do we celebrate?
Well, we're celebrating through the Back to School Health Fair, and it truly is for national health centers across the states, and just celebrating the service that they provide to communities. So, and every year, our goal in the Back to School Health Fair is to kick it off with just that.
You mentioned earlier, to kind of take things back from where we began, Columbia Valley Community Health is a nonprofit by definition, but you still have an executive team and a board of directors, and how does that all interact with each other?
Yes, so we have
Who runs the joint?
Yeah, well, we are governed by a board, and so they make sure that we are staying true to our vision and our mission to take care of the community and provide health care to anyone that walks through our doors. And then we also have an executive team underneath the board, and they help make sure that each of the departments are running true to the mission as well.
And how is the board of directors assembled? Who decides who's on the board and who doesn't? And how do they have terms that expire and things like that?
Yeah, so they do have terms that expire. The board is made up. The board basically interviews people in the community, and then the board decides who comes on.
And the executive team, David Olson is the CEO of that. Is there a nice balance of business people who understand how to push papers and understand how spreadsheets work, and physicians on the other side? Because they kind of have to work together, right?
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important to mention about our board is they're not just, it's made up of people, an array of people in the community. We have business owners, people, CEOs of other companies, people who have been in the health field. So just a nice group of mentors to be able to offer wonderful advice moving forward. And then our executive team has a nice mix of people, just experts in their field. So we are very lucky to have just a strong team.
Express clinics in Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Chelan. What is the geographic footprint of Columbia Valley Community Health, if one exists? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by geographic?
Well, it's how far away from the Wenatchee Valley do people come to your facility for healthcare?
Well,
because Wenatchee is the hub. Wenatchee is a
Wenatchee is the hub, but
right.
So certainly, people come in from Quincy and into Wenatchee. But I think more importantly, we go outside of Wenatchee. So a big portion of what we do and how we began is we take medical buses, and we go out on site to different orchards, and we provide medical care to workers that are here, just for the season, and everything from care for a woman that might be pregnant that is here from Mexico and hasn't had any prenatal care yet, or and everything in between. And generally it's medication. There are things that they just they don't know that they have, or children that have asthma and don't have inhalers. And so the geographic footprint goes for literally a couple of hours outside of Wenatchee, and then people from Twisp go to Chelan, and so it's growing.
Now the main campus on Orondo has been finally done. What are the expansion plans for Columbia Valley Community Health? Are you going to kind of go for a little while, or is it full speed ahead and let's?
I don't think we'll never stop. Yeah. Not with David Olson at the table. Okay. He's just has an excellent vision for us to keep growing, but not too fast. Our thing is to make sure that everything is calculated, and we want to make sure that we stay true to the mission and make sure that our resources are keeping the existing infrastructure that we have flourishing. So as long as that continues to grow, we will also continue to grow.
Because the need is there. Obviously, the need is there for the services of Columbia Valley Community Health, or you wouldn't be here to begin with.
Absolutely.
So, let's wrap up where we started once again. Give people the thumbnail sketch of tomorrow. When does it start? Where is it at? All that good stuff. Everything you need to know.
Absolutely. So tomorrow from 9 to noon is our Back to School Health Fair at 600 Orondo, where we have 1,000 backpacks to give away to kiddos K through 12.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
you got some sponsors you want to thank? Because you can't put this on without sponsors.
No, we absolutely cannot. Coordinated.
Actually, you look right there on the screen. There you are.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Each of these sponsors have just been awesome in making it possible, including you guys. We just appreciate you letting us come on board and tell everyone about the event.
Well, we'll absolutely have a camera crew there tomorrow at Columbia Valley Community Health. And again, living in the neighborhood, you guys have been great neighbors. We've had the communication between the Columbia Valley Community Health and the people who live in the Grandview Historic District has been outstanding. I love having you folks in the neighborhood. But speaking on behalf of most of the folks who live in my neighborhood, we're glad it's over.
Oh, absolutely, and
the
we
expansion and the
understand. We are
remodels and
too.
everything
So
like
thank you
that.
for being so patient with
Yes,
us.
so. Columbia Valley Community Health, again, they have a great website, and the best thing, we talked about this earlier, if you go on their website, it tells you the wait time if you need to go to the walk-in clinic to take care of anything little that probably needs to have something taken care of, and I love that.
Absolutely.
So, Catherine, we'll see you tomorrow, all right?
Awesome. Thanks,
Good.
Dan.
Thanks for dropping by. We appreciate it. Good to see you again. Everybody have yourself a great weekend. We'll be right back at it here dark and early. Till then, bye-bye.